Hi Cancer and Cancer Rising, this is your March 2017 forecast. So the big news in March is that Venus is going retrograde, and this is happening on the 3rd of March, and it's going to last until the 15th of April. Now Venus goes retrograde every 18 months or so, and let's talk a little bit about how it affects everyone. So for everyone, it's about finishing past business with relationships. Venus is that planet of love, affection, friendship, and money, so these are the areas that come under focus. So you may find that past lovers or partners or friends show up unexpectedly, or you may find yourself zoning in on somebody from your past and going in for a second look. Venus retrograde is also a good time to renegotiate financial situations, the terms of contracts in terms of bank loans, especially when Venus goes retrograde, which would be on the 3rd, and direct again. This can also be a good time to change lawyers if you're trying to resolve financial matters. For some people, it's a time when they finalize divorce proceedings or breakups can happen, but this isn't the most common occurrence. You can find that luxury items bought at this time are a little bit disappointing in the long run because you're not necessarily thinking very practically. On the other hand, Venus retrograde is very good for finding bargains where you know the real value of something, but the seller doesn't. So swooping in for bargains on second-hand goods can be very productive. But let's look at how Venus retrograde affects you specifically. Venus is going to be going retrograde in your 10th house. So for you, this is going to bring into focus matters of reputation, public identity. So you're going to be a lot more concerned with how others perceive you in terms of your public visibility, your reputation. So how do others see you regarding financial and professional success? So this is when you also want to hone in on skills and capabilities, because you may find yourself in situations where you have to either defend or promote yourself on the job. So it's very good to be kind of, armed in advance. So should you need to defend yourself or should you need to promote yourself, you're able to fall back on your skills and competency. You may also find this is a good time for kind of decorating your CV or your office space, because you'll be more concerned with appearances generally speaking. So might be a good time for a CV overhaul. Okay, and let's look at what else is happening this month. Until the 20th of March, the Sun is going to be in your 9th house, and the 9th house is that house where we're concerned with the bigger meaning and significance of things. It's also the house of teaching, publishing, and print, so very good for self-promotion through these sorts of avenues. But because the 9th is concerned with where we get meaning out of life, it's also where we're more adventurous, we're more prepared to take a leap of faith, but we're also looking for new experiences that will take us beyond the routine paperwork, routine details of our lives. So you're looking for anything that can expand the mind, feed the spirit. This is a very good time to take up a new hobby or to embark on a course of study. Travel is also very appealing, but whatever you do, you want to break up normal routine and look for ways to make your life more meaningful and significant. Mercury is also going to be in the 9th house, so this is really where your mind is at. You're eager for new knowledge, you're thinking about new subjects, new experiences, so exploring avenues that you haven't before. Foreign places, the law, philosophy, these are all very appealing, travel in particular. It's also very good for philosophical and spiritual discussions, you're more receptive now. And for some of you, your mind could be on legal matters and getting to the bottom of things like this. So, and in general, you find yourself having conversations or stimulated by people from very different backgrounds to your own. From the 20th of March, the Sun is moving into your 10th house, where it's angular and strong. And the 10th house is that house of career, profession, it's your reputation, it's where you're the most visible. So this is all about public standing, responsibilities, it's also where you receive recognition. It's very important to be conscientious professionally at this time because mistakes can also be exposed. You're also more liable to have more contact with authority figures, generally speaking. But recognition is also coming up on the cards for you. So recognition for the work that you've done, for your professional achievements. Regarding career, when the Sun is in the 10th house, this is also a good time for course correction because you've got a lot of clarity about where you are and what you're doing. So if you need to make a change, of course, or reset professional goals, this is the time to do it. Because the 10th is opposite the 4th house, interactions with family members can also be more key at this time. So the 10th house is kind of big for you. You're also going to have Mars in the 10th until the 10th of March. And with Mars in the 10th at the beginning of the month, you know, your energies are really going towards being achieved, being recognized for your unique talents and abilities. It's all about professional goals, advancing professionally, getting to the top of the heap. Mars here can make you very hungry and ambitious, so very good for advancing yourself, promoting yourself. You're coming across as very confident and very assured. From the 10th of March, Mars is moving into your 11th house, and this is the house of goals, dreams and objectives, groups and friends. So this is good for teamwork and cooperation. So here you really want to take that self-centered focus of Mars and align your interests with other people's interests, because teamwork and cooperation are going to get you further faster. So aligning yourself with other people, it's also very good for physical activities, generally speaking, especially those that involve groups or outings with friends, such as hiking, sports and games. So a very productive time with your Mars moving from your 10th to your 11th house in terms of advancing goals and objectives. So Mercury is going to be in your 10th house from the 14th onwards, and this is a very good time for studies that are going to enhance your career. So the career focus really comes in, especially from the second part of the month. So things that are going to, you know, new skills and adjuncts, courses of study that can enhance your professional standing. Mercury in the 10th, it's also the time when you want to have conversations with authority figures about how to get ahead professionally. So communications on the job can also be more important or more key at this time. So lots of discussions, negotiations, and also perhaps routine paperwork. So your mind is really on the job, how to get ahead. And this is when, like I said, you want to ask those questions, you know, with the relevant parties about how can you get further within your career. So also a very good time for self-promotion generally, and your mind will definitely be on the job. So let's look at the transits this month. On the 1st of March, we've got the Sun conjuncting Neptune in your 9th house, and this is really going to arouse interest in occult, spiritual subjects or philosophical, metaphysical subjects. You can find that your sensitivity and perception are really aroused into this transit. For some people, the Sun conjuncting Neptune can show a little bit of a drain of energy and vitality, so you might be feeling a bit flat or desultory. On the 2nd of March, we've got Jupiter opposing Uranus between your 4th and 10th houses, a very strong angular placement. And this has been a crucial aspect this year, a very important one. So here, the tension is between, you know, desire for freedom. There's this real strong desire to have a release from limiting restrictions and obligations. And for you, this is around work and professional demands. So very often when this transit goes direct, there's events conspire in such a way that there is a release of tension. So in some way we find ourselves released from contractual obligations or limiting circumstances, and this can be anything to do with a job, a relationship, or a way of life. In terms of relationships with other people, you may find that you need to give them more freedom because you could be the source of restrictions, duties, and obligations conversely in their life. On the 4th, we've got Mercury conjuncting Neptune in your 9th house. And much like the Sun conjuncting Neptune, this really makes you more perceptive, more sensitive, more imaginative. It really stimulates creative self-expression and discussions. And the 9th house is that house of higher study, learning, metaphysics, spirituality. So you can really find yourself more keyed in, your perception is heightened. There's greater awareness and sensitivity in terms of these subjects. On the 5th, we've got Mars trining Saturn from your 10th to your 6th house. And Mars and Saturn in your professional houses are very good for getting hard work done. Work doesn't have to be glamorous or exotic or too interesting. You know, you can really just buckle down and tackle it. So working through difficult or demanding tasks are aided by this transit. Mars and Saturn together, you're more practically focused, more utilitarian. So this is a shift from that kind of philosophical thinking into the slog and grind and really just persevering, getting through hard work, you know, with some tenacity. On the 6th, we've got the Sun conjuncting Mercury in your 9th house, and this is very good for having conversations. This could be around legal matters, so you're really initiating interactions and conversations with other people. This could be with people with very different backgrounds to your own. This is also very good for starting a business venture, and for you this could be around new studies, teaching, learning, publishing. So lots of communications, lots of activity, and feeling very restless generally speaking. And this is going to be added with Mercury and the Sun on the 8th, sextiling Pluto in your 7th house. So this can be very good for reorganizing things, getting to the bottom of things, deep thinking. So perhaps if you need to tackle relationship or partnership problems, with a new angle, then this is the one to do it. In terms of personal work, this is very good for healing modalities, because you're looking for the truth. You're trying to get to the bottom of things. So this can really give you that new awareness or insight into what's really going on. So the full moon this month is going to be on the 12th of March and in your 3rd house in Virgo. And you'll have found yourself very restless in the 2 weeks leading up to this full moon. So full moons are always a culminating energy. So where your mind has been on the bigger picture, now it's routine details catching up with you. So it's really time to do what needs to be done. So this could be, you have to make phone calls, there's routine paperwork that needs to be attended to, that you may have to take a lot of short trips. So it's really doing what needs to be done so that you can open up or free yourself from more interesting avenues. So this is around work and service and activity, routine matters, and it's all about attention to details. So the nitty-gritty catching up with you. On the 18th, we've got Mercury conjuncting Venus in your 10th house, and Mercury and Venus together, very good for declarations of love. You're feeling very articulate in terms of your feelings, so you can really voice them. In the 10th house, this also favors financial and business dealings. These two planets work very well together for business discussions, negotiations, and dealings generally speaking. On the 23rd of March, we've got Mercury squaring Pluto from your 10th to your 7th, and this could be a bit of a difficult aspect. And for you, it's in that house of work and partnerships. So, this can show obsessive thinking, preoccupation, fixation. You may be provoked, or you may alternatively force your point of view onto other people. So, but this is very good for intense focus and study if you can kind of control it. But you may find that your ideas aren't being received too well by people in charge right now. On the 24th of March, we've got Mercury opposing Jupiter from your 10th to your 4th house. So this opposition can still be useful for business negotiations, generally speaking, because you're able to see the big picture when these two planets come together. So good for business discussions and negotiations and transactions and work for you, and any kind of routine, topics that come up under this. But at the same time, with Mercury and Jupiter in opposition, you have to be more careful with the details. So although there's good big picture thinking, there's a tendency to be a little bit sloppy with the details. So make a special effort to work with greater accuracy, and this could still be very favorable for all kinds of business dealings. On the 25th, we've got the Sun conjuncting Venus in your 10th house. And with the Sun and Venus coming together, especially with Venus retrograde, this could give you a moment of relationship clarity. Like I said, with Venus retrograde, relationship issues can be really crucial. And with the Sun and Venus together, this can give you those aha moments or epiphanies. In terms of Venus and the Sun together in other respects, it makes you more attractive. You can really reel in like a love interest. So this is a good aspect for that, or a good combination of energies for that sort of thing, for being attractive and compelling and charismatic. And you may find somebody else, especially in a work situation, has that kind of energy and allure. On the 26th, we've got Mercury conjuncting Uranus in your 10th house, and this in that house of career, work, reputation, visibility. It can be very exciting and stimulating. So you may find your mind is, more keyed. You're feeling inventive, original, clever. So this is very good for tackling those sorts of things. Also mathematical or technological problems, more likely to be solved under this aspect. So, make use of that energy on the job. So on the 28th, we've got a very potent new moon for you happening in Aries in your 10th house. So we'll have the Sun, the Moon, Venus, Mercury, and Uranus all in Aries, so a lot lined up. So new moons are always a time of startup energies, taking initiative, and for you, this is all about being self-assertive, taking on new challenges and risks with regard to your professional identity. It's all about self-promotion on the job. So new business plans and goals, they're in their inceptive phase right now, and you're taking actions to pursue them. So it's all about renewal and reinvigoration of career. So, you're looking at aspects of your personality that relate to your professional identity, how to promote yourself. So it's really going to be 2 weeks of being very busy with career and public responsibilities. So apply self-discipline in this regard, and it'll be a very constructive 2 weeks for you. So the month concludes with Jupiter squaring Pluto, another important aspect of 2017, from your 4th to your 7th houses, so angular and strong for you. So these planets can really show ambition, striving for power. It's how you want to, you're looking for success and recognition, social standing. But it can bring conflict from people in power. And for you, this could be from family members or partners. So a little bit of clashes there. But can be very good for reforming those sorts of situations and challenges that come up under this influence so that you can really make a difference and really get ahead with your goals, dreams, and objectives in terms of power and success. If you've enjoyed this forecast, please like and subscribe, and thanks so much for listening.